For 2 decades, he was the calm voice behind the sawdust. Norm Abram built more than furniture, he built trust. In over 21 seasons and nearly 300 episodes of the new Yankee Workshop, with his plaid shirt, steady hands, and soft-spoken instructions, Norm became a staple in American homes. But behind the serene workshop doors, something was quietly unraveling. Despite creating 235 projects and mentoring millions through screens, Norm was dealing with something deeply personal. Weight loss rumors began swirling. Viewers noticed he looked different. Then, after 4 decades of television, Norm abruptly walked away, no grand farewell, no return. WGBH and This Old House gave him lifetime honors but never addressed what really happened. Why did America's most beloved carpenter vanish so suddenly? And what was the heartbreaking truth behind his quiet exit? It means a lot to us that there are still people who are enjoying the quiet exit of Norm Abram, a legacy carved in silence for over 2 decades. He was the quiet heartbeat of American woodworking television. With his striped shirts, steady hands, and gentle voice, Norm Abram didn't just build furniture, he built trust. Across 21 years and nearly 300 episodes of the new Yankee Workshop, Norm became a staple in American homes, guiding viewers through the craft with precision and patience. But behind the calm of the woodshop doors, something deeply personal was beginning to splinter. The projects were beautiful, 235 in total, crafted with care and shared with millions. But viewers began to notice something else. Norm looked different. Rumors swirled about weight loss, quiet struggles, and then one day, he was gone. No grand finale, no heartfelt goodbye, just silence. WGBH and This Old House would later honor him with Lifetime Achievement Awards. But they never addressed the quiet question that lingered: why did America's most trusted carpenter walk away without a word? To understand the exit, we must revisit the beginning. 1989, back then, woodworking fans across the country tuned into PBS not knowing they'd soon meet a man who would change the landscape of DIY television forever. Norm Abram stepped into a modest but perfectly organized workshop filled with saws, sanders, and dreams. The barn doors slid open, and the new Yankee Workshop was born. But who was this man who made building look effortless? Who was Norm Abram, really? The story begins much earlier, October 3, 1949, in Rhode Island. Norm was raised in Milford, Massachusetts, where most kids spent their summers riding bikes or playing baseball. But Norm? He was shadowing his father, a carpenter, learning how to lay hardwood floors at just 9 years old. By the time others were tying shoes, Norm was swinging hammers and guiding saws with precision. Through high school, Norm spent his summers on job sites, honing skills most adults never master. He tried college, mechanical engineering at the University of Massachusetts at Amherst, but lectures on theory couldn't compete with the satisfaction of sawdust. He briefly switched to business administration, but the numbers meant nothing without nails and wood. Eventually, he left college behind, choosing a different kind of education, experience. By 1976, Norm had started his own company. One of his early jobs was on Nantucket building a basic store. The job went so well, word of his craftsmanship spread. But fate was about to knock in a very unexpected way. In 1979, television director Russell Morrish, known for working with Julia Child on The French Chef, hired Norm to build a small backyard workshop. Morrish was impressed not just by Norm's skill, but by his calm demeanor and clean, methodical work. Soon, he invited Norm to help renovate a home for a new show, This Old House. Norm wasn't supposed to be on camera, but audiences quickly took notice. His steady presence, soft voice, and practical wisdom made him more than just a contractor. He became a trusted figure, a teacher in flannel. 10 years later, Morrish had another idea: Norm needed his own show. And so the new Yankee Workshop opened its barn doors to the nation. Every week, viewers followed Norm into a woodworker's paradise, a 936-square-foot barn stuffed with every tool imaginable. From the radial arm saw to the miter bench, from the dust collection system to the tucked-away finishing room, Norm's shop was a dreamland of craftsmanship. The space was meticulous, just like the man himself. Norm didn't just teach people how to build things. He inspired confidence. Even viewers who never picked up a hammer tuned in religiously just to watch him work. His process wasn't flashy. It was thoughtful, precise, calming, like watching a master musician tune a lifelong instrument. By the 21st season, Norm had created hundreds of detailed plans, each one designed not just to be built but to be understood. The barn was full of wood, but it was also full of meaning. It was a place where skill met serenity, where craftsmanship was passed down one quiet instruction at a time. But as time passed, something began to shift. Behind the flawless cuts and well-sanded edges, Norm was carrying something private. His appearance began to change. His energy waned. Fans whispered, concerned. And then the show ended. No farewell special, no behind-the-scenes footage, just gone. And that silence, more than anything, spoke volumes. So what really happened to Norm Abram? Why did the most beloved carpenter in America vanish from the spotlight so suddenly, without closure? Was it health? Burnout? A quiet choice to retreat from fame? The truth remains largely hidden, protected perhaps by the same humility that made Norm so loved in the first place. But what we do know is this: Norm Abram left behind more than blueprints and sawdust. He left a legacy of trust, peace, and quiet excellence. And sometimes, the quietest goodbyes are the ones that echo the loudest. Stay tuned as we uncover the hidden story of a man who built a nation of woodworkers, and then walked away from it all. Let me know if you'd like it turned into an article layout or edited for print, web, or voiceover purposes. He was our rock in a world of sawdust and silence. But what was breaking him behind the scenes? He built more than just cabinets, more than workbenches or cherrywood dining tables. Norm Abram built trust. The kind that came through softly spoken instructions, a calm smile, and the rhythmic hum of sanders and saw blades over 21 quiet, unwavering years. To millions, he wasn't just a woodworker, he was a weekend friend. The man behind the tools. The gentle presence who could make anything feel possible. But now, it breaks our hearts to say it. There's a side of Norm's story most fans never saw. And it's time they forgot everything they think they know. We all saw the familiar ending to every episode: Norm cleaning his tools, sweeping up sawdust, sliding the big barn door shut, and presumably heading home for dinner with his family. Comforting. Reliable. But behind that steady image, behind the warm lighting and finished furniture, something was unraveling off camera. The man America trusted was giving everything he had to keep up with a show that demanded more and more. And eventually, it cost him. From 1989 to 2009, the new Yankee workshop delivered a stunning 235 projects. That's not just weekends in the shop. That's seasons of relentless planning, scripting, sourcing materials, sketching plans, executing builds, and shooting everything with pinpoint precision. Each show wasn't a happy accident of camera and carpentry, it was a high-stakes performance requiring perfection every single time. Fans at home might see an hour of calm creation. But what they didn't see were the 12-hour shoot days, the retakes, the long hours spent hunched over plans, adjusting camera angles, or sanding through exhaustion just to capture the perfect shot. Norm never complained. He never let you see the cracks. But they were forming. Early on, the projects were modest: nightstands, toy chests, little blanket boxes. But as the seasons rolled by, the builds grew bolder, heavier, more complicated. Gazebos. Full-sized sheds. An entire roll-top desk that had to be broken into 2 full episodes just to show every intricate detail. By the late 1990s, Norm was executing showpieces that required meticulous research, architectural precision, and relentless labor. And he was doing it all while carrying the entire weight of the show on his shoulders. And still, he showed up, calm and smiling. But while the show never seemed to break stride, Norm's body began to pay the price. You didn't see the toll standing on concrete floors for days took on his knees. Or how hours of sanding and hammering wore down his hands and joints. You didn't see the sore back, the fatigue, or the late nights spent sketching out dimensions for the next day's shoot.